Hello, everyone, and welcome to Deep Space Nine Reactions. I'm Fred. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. We are working our way through Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It is my favorite of the Star Trek series. Watched it during its original 93 to 99 run. I rewatched it over the years, and when choosing to rewatch it again, I thought, why not do it as with a podcast, running commentary, one man show type deal? So, for those who don't know how I do this, I do a full rewatch here. This video has no cuts, no edits. You get my unfiltered thoughts, opinions, stuttering, all that wonderful goodness. As I react to talk about the episode in question, key moments as they happen, what things that are referred to in prior episodes, things that will be important later on in the series, all that jazz. Sometimes I become really fixated on the episode and really go in on the all detailed reaction, and it's like, but there is also a trade-off with all of this in that you don't see the episode in question. It's blurred down here. It's obscured. Reason being DMCA. Let's face it, I'm not an editor. I'm not good at editing to any stretch of the imagination. So that's why these videos are often like 50 some odd minutes long. Which reminds me, because we're going to be having The Way of the Warrior, which is about 90 minutes long. Probably, let's see, this is episode 17, so about what? 10, 11 weeks from now, Way of the Warrior, give or take. Yes. So anyway, also any ambient noise you hear from the episode is picked up from the speakers to my microphone. So that's kind of a trade-off there, because I don't, when I'm watching a movie or a show or anything, I don't like earbuds. I don't, especially since I'm doing it for these purposes here. Now, what do I remember about the episode Visionary? Miles O'Brien is jumping through time, and every time he jumps forward in time, he sees himself die in some horrible, horrible fashion. There is a twist here that this does, in many ways, ties back to the Search Part 2, everything with the Romulans and why we don't have a Romulan presence on Deep Space Nine, oddly enough. That the Romulans is like, they have their concerns regarding the Dominion, and this is all part of their ploy. That what the Romulans are doing is to shut down the wormhole. Like, I remember that particular plot point after as many times I've seen this episode. Yeah, it's O'Brien from the future. Now, if I remember right, O'Brien dies, and it's a different O'Brien that comes back at the very end. So O'Brien essentially is not O'Brien going forward, which also kind of ties into when you think about over on Star Trek Voyager with Harry Kim, dying and being replaced by another version of himself. So I kind of wonder which episode came first. I'm not the biggest Voyager fan because I hate Star Trek Voyager, but I kind of wonder because that whole situation. Anyway, I do got like a big cup of iced tea here because, truth be told, it is like quarter after 6 in the morning at the time I'm recording this. So kind of need a little bit of caffeine or something or other, and I don't like coffee. Well, not traditional coffee. Anyway, let's get to the episode. Nothing like waking up on your back and having a doctor jab a hypo spray in your neck. Like a conduit blowing out. O'Brien just fixed the damn thing. I'm telling you. Cardassian infrastructure, always substandard wiring. I'm saying this considering the previous episode where one of the Cardassian visitors were like complaining about all the rewiring and things that that O'Brien has done. Now O'Brien is restricted to light duty. He doesn't want to be anywhere near Jeffrey's tube or anything of the sort. If you only knew. It's just another O'Brien must suffer episode. Head on down to the promenade. Hey, Packlegs. They look for things that make them go. There were Klingons on the station? Oh, the Klingons just arrived, yes. The Klingons need a complete overhaul. So you got Klingons and Romulans on the station. And he's already been to Quarks. So yeah, it can't be a coincidence that the Klingons on here with the Romulans showing up. It's like, Odo, keep a close eye on the Klingons. So this basically negates Odo from keeping his eye on the Romulans. Yeah, Security Geeks 1 and 2. Number 1 gets to open the door. One thing I always appreciate about the Romulan uniforms, they're big and square. The Romulans are a very square people. They're very stiff. It and also an interesting little detail on Romulan is the more pronounced brow in comparison to Vulcan. And it's like this, they're basically the same genetic people, but there's like yes, subtle differences. Oh, this is where they put the dartboard up. I forget about that. Yep, set up the dartboard properly. Darts and bars go together like bacon and eggs. People order bacon and eggs, but they don't. No one comes in here to order to play darts. Quark does not see the appeal of darts. Darts is great if you have eye coordination. Like you need to try to get one in the bullseye, and what does Quark do? He throws them all. And it ends up hitting Morn twice. Take a shot for Morn. Don't throw them like that. You gotta throw them gently. One at a time you throw darts. O'Brien throws the dart, but he's somewhere else. Klingons destroyed 2 holosuites? You're lucky they didn't destroy 3. Can you know what it's like saying no to a Klingon? It's almost an impossibility. And O'Brien sees O'Brien. It's O'Brienception, and he gets a bullseye. And collapses. This is a long, cold open, but as the rock goes flying through space, time for all the business. And you know the business. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, all that, all that usual stuff that YouTube wants us to say. Encourage engagement and all that. Of course, obviously here the YouTube channel, in addition to these particular videos, you get all the several shorts per night, and the and also the Twitch archives, which is updated daily with everything that we do over Twitch. Obviously, ends up here on YouTube, normally within a couple hours of when the stream ends over on Twitch. Doesn't cost you anything, so yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Excuse me. Then, of course, we are live over on Twitch 7 nights a week. Monday to Friday stream time starts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Uh, Saturdays and Sunday stream starts at 5 p.m. Eastern. Recent games that we are featuring as of this week, we are Sandland, Yakuza, Like a Dragon, and a Biotic Factor. Those are some of the stuff that we are featuring over on the Twitch channel. But again, if you can't catch us live, you will have the streams end up here. If you want to help support the channel in any way, there is a PayPal donation link in the description below. You can kick a few bucks over, helps keeps the lights on, goes to like all the the key bills associated here, electric, internet. So those are essentially the two big ones. Back to the episode proper. O'Brien suffered a muscle spasm. It's like a muscle spasm side effect is from radiation poisoning. That doesn't seem right. But mild hallucinations are a side effect. There's nothing mild about it. O'Brien saw himself. Like O'Brien, Quark was complaining about the Klingons, but when doesn't Quark complain about Klingons? When there are no Klingons on the station? O'Brien does have a sadly deficient fantasy life. You know why? Because he's married to Keiko. That's all the fantasy he needs. The Romulans need more information on the Dominion's military capabilities. We can't blame the Romulans because the Dominion has basically can just come through the wormhole and just wreak havoc, which they eventually will. And of course, changeling shapeshifters can get anywhere and everywhere. And because of the Ferengi Tulaberry one contract, there has been a great convenient way for the shapeshifters to get to various places. The truth is stranger than fiction. It makes you wonder why didn't they send a diplomatic ship to go to search for the Dominion instead of a warship? But anyway, Romulans are not happy that the Federation got the cloaking device, but they don't have sufficient information. And yeah, and it's the first willing cooperation thing between the Federation and Romulans in over 20 years. I really wish more was done with that. Like that there was a Romulan presence on Deep Space Nine, at least one character, a reoccurring character that would to be there. Is like to have the makeup budget for everyone else. Like why didn't they have a Romulan stationed on like a permanent Romulan character? They didn't have to be added to the opening credits. Just have them was it a reoccurring character, same level as Garrick, Nog, Rom, Lita. It's like it's like they appear in when required. And O'Brien is seeing himself again. Like Holosuite can wake and Quark can see him too. O'Brien has bigger problems. He sees himself, but things are different than what they were before. And of course, it's time for Terry Farrell's obligatory science technobabble scene. Because she is not the focus of this episode, and there is not much more to do for it. This is a chief episode. But what can cause a time shift? Many things. More than likely a cloaked Romulan vessel with the radiation surge type of shock that O'Brien took. The what you call it with the Romulans? They use a and O'Brien jumps again. This time into a bar brawl. And of course, the Klingons and Romulans are fighting. Federation. Everyone getting their ass kicked. O'Brien getting his ass kicked. But O'Brien is helping O'Brien not get his ass kicked. O'Brien ducks the O'Brien warned O'Brien to duck a chair. He's just going through it like almost every single act involves the chief falling down and ending up on his back in some way. What's going on? Can the Bashir fix it? Yeah, he can, but it could kill him. Like, what temporal abnormalities would be around a space station that's near a wormhole? Like, how far has O'Brien jumped into the future? Several hours. It's like heightened security around Quarks. That's always a good yeah, that's all Odo needs, an excuse to put more security on Quarks. The Romulans are still not happy with the sensor information collected by the Defiant. Like they also want the Romulans want the logs, sensor logs. They want to be able to go over the Defiant. They want they want everyone's personal logs, all the official logs. Like the Romulans never been to the Gamma Quadrant, so they're relying on the Federation for information. And you have to understand that the Romulan point of view. Like the Romulans are puppet masters. They prefer to stay away from the front lines. Although one look at the Derridex class warships, and then the eventual the larger words of Plere is would say otherwise. But Kira is always diplomatic. Like Kira's emotional state is always on the verge of yelling at someone. But Kira's trying to defend Odo. It, Kira recounting what happened. That Kira was, when there were several decks below, which I doubt, that they had to abandon ships. Like Kira was knocked out in that fight. Now, why did Odo abandon it? Because he wanted. There's a big question. Why was Kira in Odo's quarters? Does Kira have personal talks with the Changeling? Yes, she does. And the Romulans are trying to determine the relationship between the only member of the crew who was not taken prisoner. And again, you gotta remember, Odo is basically a compromised asset at this point in time since he is a shapeshifter. And Odo being compromised is something that comes up a huge when the Dominion take over Deep Space Nine at the end, heading into season 6. Now, they could ask Odo those questions because Odo will end up, what will Odo do? What will Odo do to these Romulans if they ask those poignant questions? Which the Romulans are justified in asking. They've played 10 games of darts in a row. Nothing's good. Security's here. Quark's not letting any Klingons back into the bar. There's not going to be a fight. O'Brien is like his antsy. O'Brien has seen it. He can't shake the feeling that something's going to happen. Now, how and why the Klingon if Quark is not allowing Klingons in the bar, there's security all over the place. How does the bar fight end up happening? And there you go. The Klingons come in through the upstairs entrance. Or they were already in the holosuites. Oh, they're paying Quark triple. I was like, of course. This is where things escalate. So now you got Klingons and Romulans in the bar. And the Romulans are just enjoying their drinks. Like, and the Romulans are not going to take it easy. Ruan started to insinuate that Odo was compromised, which he was. Like Ruan like insinuated that Odo was interested in Kira. It's like, oh, has Odo ever heard anything so silly? Yes, he has. And oh, they used the same shot there. Oh, but different angle of the glass being thrown at Quark's head. Hey, O'Brien does not get his ass kicked this time. It's O'Brien, opening O'Brien, who is not knocked down. Watch the Romulan on the chair. Where did the other O'Brien go? The holding cell is going to be filled. And O'Brien jumps forward again. And he gets shocked. He watches himself get killed. That's probably a weird, trippy thing. Like, you just watch yourself die. It's can't imagine how that will fuck with somebody's head. Like, O'Brien has been out for an hour? In a few hours, O'Brien is going to be dead. But not from the radiation poisoning. The fantastic thing about this episode is like O'Brien like getting these visions, jumping forward and like trying to discover everything. So it's like it's a mystery where you're trying to prevent whatever it is happening in advance. You just get little clues, but not enough to piece everything together. Like they're gonna open the electrical box. Open the electrical fuse box. It's like, why is Odo stepping off to the side? The phaser blast will do nothing to him. Also, at the same time, shouldn't it be like Dax scanning it? Or that, or Odo should be using a Bajoran tricorder. It appears it has not been tampered with yet because O'Brien is jumping far enough in the future to where he's seeing the stuff happen, but not seeing like not knowing when or how the tampering is being put in place. Why would someone booby trap a simple panel? What type of surveillance device would they place there? Well, let's go one of the many that they have in Quarks. Oh, Dax has been busy defining a clue to the time shifting. that there is something floating around the station. We know it's also, we'll talk about that little hatch thing. It's like, yeah, Odo flipped the hatch down. It fell down easy enough, but to flip it up, there's a little latch that he has to lift to put it back in place. So shouldn't that have just been locked, closed in, and locked up normally? Is a singularity? That's what it is. It's a little singularity that they use, almost like a little black hole. That's what's used in a Romulan warp core. Like O'Brien's body is being yanked through time. Okay, O'Brien wants it done right away, but will it be enough in time? Nope. Not enough. We're only like halfway through the episode, give or take. The Romulans have been moved to different quarters to replicators again. They moved to Sector 47, Level 2 in the Habitat Wing. Section 47, the number 47 appears in Star Trek every so often. I would say either the Romulans put a device in the bulkhead, yes, or the Klingons did. Yeah, move. So it kind of makes you wonder of all the things that are happening on. It is a major coincidence that a lot of stuff happens after the fact. Meanwhile, Odo is monitoring a symbol hard way. Someone put a class 3 device behind the panel that they've been watching. Sensors detect a low energy transporter beam. It's like, and what is essentially a replicator, like a mini transporter. But who could have done it? Which reminds me, where would the Romulan ships be? Did they come aboard on a little freighter or shuttle? It's like, but the Klingons were the Klingons. It's a little. You know what's nuts though? You never really hear about at least outside of the original Star Trek episodes, like Trouble with Tribbles in particular, with Arn Darvin, like the Klingons surgically altered to look human. You don't really hear much about Klingon espionage in that regard. Like Klingons going undercover, like and Romulans, yeah, because you could have Romulans posing as Vulcan dignitaries or Vulcan Starfleet officers, so that could work in that way. But Klingons going undercover, you don't really. It's only in the original series that could be done, or when the Klingons went through the smooth head period. What is O'Brien is a fortune teller? It's like O'Brien. Can you, if you happen to know of any future Dabo, it's like passing of Dabo tables, like tell them the results. Like what if O'Brien hit Dabo? Actually, you don't see O'Brien or Bashir playing Dabo or anything of that nature. No, O'Brien get pulled into the future again. pulled into the infirmary, where he is dead again. You know, if you think about it, O'Brien has spent as much time working and walking around in this episode as he has been dead. Kind of like Goku in a way. So he's dead. Bashir already making excuses about not being able to save him. Yeah, he's actually post-mortem, post-autopsy. When he goes back to the past to perform a basilar arterial scan. He's going back 5 hours, should have enough time. Young Bashir, old past Bashir should have enough time to fix this. How can he let him just die like this? Yeah, he kept him alive for an hour. His body gave up. There comes a point where the human body just says, fuck it all. Oh, and O'Brien falls again. Oh, they found the transporter beam location to be in someone's quarters for weeks. Like someone overriding a lock on the station. Oh, please. So, like that's gonna be one of Worf's major complaints when he moves in season 4. Like how large is a portable transporter? Uh, roughly about the size, like essentially of a refrigerator. It's a sophisticated job, but who could have done it? Who did it? But the question is, who did it? And Odo has the answer to it. It's a device made on Davos 3, a planet near the Klingon border. Oh, it's a Klingon device. Is that Odo contacted a friend in Starfleet intelligence? Who? Who used to be assigned to the Federation embassy on the Klingon homeworld? Odo got put in contact with a former Klingon operative who is out of favor with the current administration. This former operative sent me a series of reports. Got to the chores. Odo was just laying out all the details there. The 3 Klingons are part of a covert strike force. Well, Odo sometimes has to remind Sisko just how good he is. Gowron sent 3 Klingons here to conduct surveillance on the Romulans. Why? The Klingons killing Romulans? That's always a thing. It's always a possibility. And just remember, we're still like again 11 episodes away from when Gowron appears on Deep Space Nine. Like hold the Klingons for questionings, and like Odo needs an excuse. Commander, there's no careful way to question a Klingon. There's like you beat the crap out of them and try and get an answer out of them that way. O'Brien won't give up. O'Brien is just suffering. Like, oh, Bashir's not believing. Like O'Brien's telling him to do something, and it's like he's being all smug about it. And it like, and there are times where like Bashir can be infuriating. Oh, the Klingons have done nothing, or have they? They're treating them with Klingons with disowning. They have done nothing wrong. Right. Like the Klingons are complaining slander. When his family finds out about what they have done, they'll come and kill him. Yeah. The only people that'll be coming here are their friends and Klingons' intelligence. Like they're failing in their missions. However, should these Klingons feel like cooperating, although they may be persuaded not to tell them, like realizing that they are that they're up the creek, like give them time to think about it. Now I'm thinking back to the TNG episode was not Code of Honor, but the one with the first time we first made your Klingon episode, where you got the Klingons that they basically have little components on them to make a little disruptor or something to get out of a prison cell. But kind of makes you wonder why that's not a thing. Like the Klingons having the stuff, unless they get searched and patted down completely now. The singularity, but getting back to the plot of the singularity that's roaming around the station is like it's in an orbit, like it's drifting around the station. And O'Brien, the station is being evacuated. Emergency escape protocol. O'Brien is flying. O'Brien is watching O'Brien fly. As the station gets blown up. Now what's happened? Like, what type of explosion rocked it? Like, how many people were left alive? Because how many people can you shove on the three runabouts? Like, what blew up the station? And considering they were using a model, the wormhole has been destroyed. But yeah, but I was about to say, considering they were using a model, uh, and they actually blew the model up, it looked really good at for an explosion. There was a series of major explosions rippling across the habitat ring. But there's something on the habitat ring. It looked all internal to me. But O'Brien couldn't tell. But yeah, he only had the view outside of a runabout that is heading out. That was moving away from the station. They make preparations to evacuate the station. You got three runabouts. What other ways are for people going to get off the station? How many things on the station could cause its destruction? Like everything. You know what I mean? Bad wiring in the station. O'Brien is wanting to get flooded with a high concentration of Delta Sirius radioisotopes to get launched forward. But this will potentially kill him. It will reverse everything here. But considering O'Brien has no choice here, he's willing to take a risk. One man versus a man of versus the lions of how many? Like a couple of thousand, like at least a couple of thousand people living on the station. So it's a lot of medical jargon here, but anyway, this is a very good episode in terms of building up. It's like instead of revealing all the details to you, it's like trying to figure out what these details are adding up to. And even though I know the end result of the episode, it's still fascinating to rewatch from start to finish, especially once you get. Although I would say some of the more interesting bits are the things that lead to continuity references to things that you've seen in prior episodes. Okay, well, now Brian can return back on his own. Longer as he O'Brien won't forget, but he's got to wake up O'Brien. There's a message in his quarters for Keiko. It says, "Remember to feed Molly." You know, it's also a wonderful trope here that if this was Star Trek Voyager, O'Brien would have like a little neck thingy. You know, the little neck thingy that was always put on like the person's neck in Star Trek Voyager. It's like, regardless of the circumstances, like, oh, it's a monitor, oh, it's a cortical simulator, blah 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 blah. Like, at least it doesn't exist in on. At least that trope is not on Deep Space Nine. The Keiko would be on Bajor at this point in time. Wake up, Miles. Like, oh, not O'Brien again. O'Brien doesn't like the look of him. Don't ask how he did it. It was taking too long to explain. There's going to be a disaster. Destroyed how? That's what he's here to feel. He's trying to figure it out. Find out what's going to happen and go back in the past and prevent it. He looks. O'Brien looks bad, and when O'Brien's saying O'Brien looks bad, you know it's bad. Yeah, it's like it's temporal mechanics. Don't try to understand it, folks. He's throwing on his robe. His way of telling the two apart. But also to have like the stand-in, because obviously you can't have two Colmenis interacting with each other directly. And the station gets rocked. Oh, Romulans decloaked and they're taken out the station. The Romulans attack the station. And like, again, the Romulan, the Deredex class Warbird, the Deredex class hacks a lot of firepower. It could, one could argue that two of those could easily overwhelm a Galaxy class ship. That's what I was trying to remember regarding this singularity, because it's like a mini black hole. O'Brien can't go back, so O'Brien has to go back. So much radiation poisoning. So it's kind of weirder when like robed O'Brien is looking down over dead, dying O'Brien. The green screen is kind of like it's a lot more obvious that he was looking at like at a flat projection. He has no choice. One O'Brien is going to die, and this O'Brien is going to live. Much like how Harry Kim dies and lives in the same episode. Chief, what happened? You're not in a uniform, you're in your robe. He's been to the future. I am from the future. Like, now Bashir doesn't understand that O'Brien's body should be filled with all sorts of radiation issues. So Bashir is able to tell the difference. Yeah, there's been a big change. Quark has nothing else to say there. Like the Romulans think Quark is lying, but why is he lying? He's a Ferengi. Quark, you can leave. The Quark wants to get the hell out of there quickly. That makes you wonder how long he's been interrogated. So why? Cisco couldn't understand why. Well, you remember what they said about the Dominion, that they're the greatest threat to the Alpha Quadrant. So the biggest threat: destroy the station and destroy the wormhole. So if you collapse the wormhole, you act like the station was destroyed in the aftermath. Bada bing, bada boom, everything clean. Like, who would have accidentally collapsed a wormhole? And isn't it an interesting theory? But one could argue that this entire episode, in its own way, leads to the stuff revolving like the Dias Cast two-parter. It's like, okay, the Tal Shiar is going to fully go in bed with the Obsidian Order to go after the Dominion directly. And Romulus think it's tied and they left. But again, it's a shame that the Romulans did not really have a presence on the station. But I get why. But just having one person there would have been cool. So this way you could have had that perspective of a Romulan who has at least been on the station for at least 17 weeks or several months. It could have been worked, especially with this episode here. What is Bashir gonna hit? 20 out of ring is like. Brian is a little disturbed by everything. He has like until his memories are not quite synced up. It's like we're living in the past, so the present. There's like one mouse has memories, the other one didn't. Like he's tired. He's exhausted. Quark, Dabo. Quark, Dabo, Dabo. And Chief is heading off to bed. It's like it's a great cute ending considering Quark wanted was like O'Brien to like peek at certain things along the way. But again, I already said it. This is a great episode. It has it's a mystery where the big thing does not happen until the very end, but you have the symptoms and everything leading along the way, so it builds and builds and builds and builds. Like, okay, O'Brien's being put into the future. What's the cause? Oh, little things are happening. He's getting involved with. Quite fascinating. And it's a way up until it says like, oh, he gets killed opening a panel. Oh, some like the Klingons have spies on the station. There's little twists and turns in the story, and then the station gets blown up. it's a different type of episode that just makes you want to look at every little detail a little bit more closely, such as the little differences, like in the bar fight, for example. But uh, again, it's a strong. It's an O'Brien must suffer episode that again and again. I can't help but think of one episode of Star Trek Voyager where like Harry Kim also dies, and then another version of him is alive on the ship. So it's screwy that way, but it works. It's kind of weird that they did this trope in both shows. And also weird that both shows definitely had different writing teams. It's like they shared directors, but very different writers' rooms on both shows. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to wrap this up here. So what is next week's episode? Oh, it's Distant Voices. Ah, without looking at the plot synopsis, just looking at the pictures, like, oh, Bashir gets old. But I actually, off the top of my head, I can't remember what that episode is about. Maybe I'll remember it by next week. Who knows? Anyway, with that said, tighten your friendship bracelet, stay safe, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.